Did you think when you went to etiquette and protocol school that you'd become an apprentice plumber?
No.
Tradesmen built America. Not policymakers or desk jockeys, but hardworking, blue-collared men and women. Join me, Roger Wakefield, on conversations with some of the nation's most successful skilled laborers. This is the Trade Talks.
Never in my life did I ever think that I would have anything to do with plumbing other than to be near you.
but you were registered as an apprentice plumber.
I was, yeah. Well, I owned a plumbing company, so it made sense that I would try to learn a little bit about it, the industry, right?
That makes sense. Definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
So getting into plumbing.
Yeah.
Now, you're a college graduate, multiple degrees.
Yep.
Way overeducated.
It's a matter of opinion.
But you ended up owning a plumbing company.
Yeah.
Being a registered apprentice.
Yeah. So fun.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
So fun. Yes.
And it's not probably what most people would think of as fun. It's a business. It's a job.
Yeah.
To most people, it's a job.
Yeah.
If you'd gone on and got your license, you'd have been a profession then, because we
Right.
are professional tradesmen.
Right.
Why did you step in to start running a plumbing company?
Because the opportunity came up.
Okay.
It was a matter of this is either going to work or it's not. I'm either going to have to roll up my sleeves and learn it. And I started by doing the back end, by creating the systems and processes that we needed on the back end to help, dispatch, to figure out what plumber goes where, who was where, and keep up with it. Didn't know anything. I came out of the classroom. I was a teacher.
Oh, I know.
And so I did have a business degree. I had worked in business growing up and in high school and college. I knew a little bit about it. I answered phones before. So I just started putting it together, and then it just grew from there.
Okay, so for those of y'all that don't know, this is my ex-wife. And I started a plumbing company. And I'm not going to say failed miserably, but I didn't have time to collect money, to bill customers.
Right.
I just had time to get out and plumb.
Yeah.
Because, man, when I got busy, I got busy.
That's right.
You had been a school teacher, got out and decided, look, you're going to become a coach and a consultant, and you're phenomenal at it.
Teaching business etiquette and customer service.
Exactly what every plumber needs to know, believe it or not.
Exactly. Every business person needs to know.
No, you're completely right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to that.
Okay.
Being in the classroom is great, and you love it.
I did. I love the kids.
Yeah, I was fixing to elaborate on it. Being a teacher is a hard job.
Yeah. Yeah.
You decided to get out of that. You might have been twisted or pushed or stabbed in the back or something.
Sometimes you need a little push.
Yeah, And you went to Washington to study etiquette and protocol.
Yep.
A week at the Ritz-Carlton.
I did not want to leave. I mean, that was the best week of my life.
It probably was. Away from her husband and at the Ritz-Carlton. It's like, man, life is great. It's like, hello. Okay, so you go learn etiquette and protocol.
Yep.
To become an etiquette and protocol consultant.
Yep.
Certified course, whole 9 yards, and you're good at it. You've made a good living at it.
Yep.
But then and I talk to couples all the time that are running companies together.
Yep.
And number one, that's hard to do.
It is.
But I'm trying to run a company. I'm out in the van all day. I'm marketing it. I'm running calls. I'm making the calls come in. I'm taking care of the calls. I'm doing everything but collecting the money because I didn't have time for that.
Right.
But you stepped in and started saying, look, let me answer the phones. Let me do the billing. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. And it became a full-time job.
Yeah. Quickly.
for both of us.
Quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't take long. What did you learn in college? What did you learn in college that helped prepare you for running a plumbing company that most people running a plumbing company don't get to learn?
Nothing that prepared me to run a company. I think what prepared me to run a company was jumping in and doing it. Did I go through the process of marketing and understanding how to market a business? Did I understand principles of accounting? There were basics there that I knew we had to keep up with, right? So I knew we had to keep up with what's coming in and what's going out. I knew we needed to have receipts. I knew that we needed to have a website and we needed to do ads and we needed to get our name out there.
And by the time you came in, I was doing a lot of that. I mean, I had receipts in glove boxes and consoles and Home Depot plastic bags and
in the bathroom,
the bathrooms and the office and the other
kitchen.
bathroom. And they were everywhere.
They were. You had receipts.
Mm-hmm. Not a good way to do it, y'all.
But they weren't organized.
No, not at all.
And that's the thing. I think the thing that I've learned over my years, whether it's been in the classroom, whether it's been running a plumbing company or teaching etiquette and protocol or coaching companies, the most basic thing that people need is a system to organize their life. It's about systems and processes. And you have to be organized because if you cannot manage what you have right here in front of you, then you cannot manage things when things start to take off. And I think that's where a lot of people get lost, is they don't invest the time to organize. Because the way you manage anything is the way you manage everything. And in my years of coaching, I have found that is the one thing that people need the most. Because once you get systems and processes in place and you know what you're doing, your confidence skyrockets. You're like, okay, I got this. But if you're running around going, I don't know who owes me money. I know I'm answering a phone. I got to be here next. I don't know if I have the parts on my truck. I don't know what to do. And you're running around, you're wearing yourself out physically and emotionally.
Mm-hmm. And it's neat because SOPs.
Yep. Standard operating procedures.
Mm-hmm. I heard it a different way the other day and I like it.
Okay.
Systems, operations, and procedures.
Love it.
Because those are the things that most of us don't know how to put together.
Yeah.
I can run a multi-million-dollar job and make it make money.
Yeah.
But you get out and try and run 10 residential service calls in a week, and it's like, why aren't I making any money?
Right. Right.
And it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
But standards, operations, and procedures, or even processes, make it all work. We eventually brought in, you became a dispatcher. You became the back of house manager. You became a lot of things. But at the end of the day, and I love it because our marketing didn't work. We hired so many of the wrong marketing companies, and we call them OPM marketing. It's other people's money, and that's all they want. I remember walking into a meeting. It's like, man, we need our phone to ring more. And they're like, well, pay us more money. It's like, wait, what?
That's exactly what they said.
Oh, I know. I was there. And it's like, what? Yeah. And they're like, well, now we need to SEO your website. It's like, wait, you just rebuilt it.
Yeah. You mean, well, we designed your website. We
Right.
made it look pretty.
Yeah.
But now if you want us to
get it,
help
make it get found.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's more money.
Yeah.
That's not, and it was in the agreement somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. In fine print.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we told you that. Or we had a website that we were switching over to another company,
Mhm.
and it was in a different language.
Twitter bootstrap. I will never forget those words.
And so they said, well, you need to switch it over to WordPress, and it's going to cost, I don't know, $2,000 or whatever.
Or 10 grand or, yeah.
Switch over. And we said, well, do we have to? And they're like, no. So, well,
but we can't do anything with it the way it is.
Well, they didn't say that.
Right.
They just said, we can work with it, you know?
Yeah.
And
We
so-
can learn to work with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we were nominated to be the best plumbing company in one of the towns. And we wanted to put the badge on there and the button where people could
Yep.
click.
Yep.
And we sent it over to them. We said, hey, put this on our website. And they didn't do it.
Yep. We don't know how.
Yeah. And when I called and said, what's going on? Why didn't you put that on our website? They said, well, we told you that you needed to switch it over to WordPress. And because you didn't, then we don't really know how to do these things. So we're not going to be able to help you. Oh, so we've missed this opportunity now.
Yeah. And 6 months later, you're telling us, well, we just can't do anything with your website.
Uh-huh.
But that was the same company, if I'm not mistaken, was charging us $1,000 a month just to monitor, just to watch it.
Yeah.
And watch our pay per click ads to manage it. They said if you spend $10 a month on ads, it's still $1,000 a month for us to manage it. They were crooks. They shut down. They got caught. Just saying.
Yeah.
Have you ever dealt with a good marketing company?
Not in the plumbing industry. You know what though? I will say
There's some nice people.
there's some nice people out there, and there's some people who really tried, but it just like in anything, when you're finding your vendors, and especially if it's service based, whether it's marketing, whether it's coaching, whether it's whatever it is, most people have a system that they want to put you in. It's their box. And they say, we're going to take you as a company and put you in our box, and we're going to make it fit. And what we found pretty fast, especially in marketing, is that not every company fits in a box. And so if we're going to market, you know, with our budget, with our resources, where we want to go, our goals, we don't always fit into everybody. So it gets into who is your customer? What problem do you solve? And how are you different? And then let's work from there so that everybody has kind of a customized approach. You can use a lot of the same tools, but don't try to put everybody in the same box.
And later when we joined a best practice group, that's what they try to do.
Yeah.
You've got to get in this box. You got to say the same thing they're saying at the company next door to you. You got to say the same thing they're saying at the company over here. You've got to change to look like them.
Wear the same uniforms.
Yeah. Yeah. At that point, it becomes not your company.
Yeah.
You're building their company. You're making them money. They're making a lot of money.
Yeah. And everybody looks the same.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's really funny because right now, especially with AI taking over and equalizing content and editing and all the things, the one differentiator is individuals.
Mm-hmm.
It's the customer
Isn't
service.
that what AI should stand for? Authentic individuals.
Yeah. Or actual interaction.
Yeah.
Or actually interesting.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
For most people.
Yeah.
What did you learn running a company?
I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I don't have to know everything right now, but that if I get up every day and say I'm going to learn something new today, even if it's little, I'm making progress. I learned to surround myself with people who are good at things that I'm not good at. I've learned that I think the biggest lesson for me is that as a company owner, we have an opportunity to make a difference in someone's lives. We're helping people put food on their table. We're helping people raise their families. We're impacting communities. And it's through these companies that communities are thriving, that families are thriving. And it becomes not so much about me as a company owner, but how I can help improve someone else's life.
Okay, so we built a company, we grew it, we scaled it, we sold it. You went on to be a plumbing coach.
Mm-hmm.
What is the one thing that most new companies walk in and realize they're not doing right? What is the biggest thing that most companies are just like, wow?
Depends on where they are in their business, but I found so many of my clients, it goes back to the organizations and systems that they have in place and how consistent they are. You know, life takes over when you're a small company owner and you're an owner in a truck. This is your baby.
Mm-hmm.
You built it. And so you need to start taking steps to get out of the truck so that you can start running the company. And that's a really hard transition, both emotionally and structurally, because your customers still want you. I mean, you have the relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're saying you're sending a plumber over, they're like, no, we want you. And so you have to get really good at building the relationships and hiring the right people that fit your culture. And you have to go through that process of transition so that you as a business owner can step out of the truck and scale your business. Otherwise, you're going to be in the truck forever. And there are some people who wanted that.
No, and
yeah.
I get it. And it's hard to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, that's one of the things that the best practice groups teach is, look, you need to be out of the truck. And most people
Right.
do want to.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. That's where fitting in the box doesn't, if you're a company owner and you say, look, I am good at this.
You bet.
This is what I love. This gets me out of bed. I would like to have my wife or my son or daughter, or maybe even the person who's helped me grow and scale this, that has a desire, has a good business mind and wants to be out of the truck and run the company. I'd rather they do it because I want to stay in the truck.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay.
Oh,
if
it
that's
is.
what you want.
Oh, me too. I actually think most plumbing company owners are probably one of the best technicians at the company.
Yeah.
Because they were really, really good. And you know, it goes back to Michael Gerber.
I was going to say.
They literally, they were so good. And like, man, I make so much money for this other company.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go do this for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know how to run payroll. We don't know how to keep books. We don't know how to do all the things that are behind the scenes.
Yeah. Did you know when you started the company that you needed to take a receipt and hand it to somebody to put into QuickBooks?
You would think I would know that.
But you don't. And the thing is, it's not common sense if you don't know.
Right.
If you've never done it before,
right.
You don't know what you don't know. And so I think that's the thing that owning a company really does, is when it boosts your confidence, because you might have known it somewhere back here, but now you're seeing it play out in real life and you go, oh, I get this. I get it now. And you start to grow, and then you become better at what you do. You become a better business owner. You become a better plumber, because now you understand the system and process that you have when you go into the home, and what you need to do to follow up, and the paperwork that goes after that call. But that's just as important as solving the problem for your customer.
You know, and getting out of the truck also goes back to Michael Gerber. You need to get to where you're working on your company, not in your company.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, he doesn't want people staying in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and I think that it's okay if you've got the right people running the office where it's like, look, I can run calls.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But you gotta let that go. If that's your decision, then you gotta let them run the company.
Mm-hmm. And then trust that they're doing it the way it
That's right.
needs to be done.
That's right.
Take just a minute and tell everybody who you are and what you do.
My name is Julie Jones. I am an educator turned entrepreneur turned coach, business coach and life coach. And I help people show up to be their best because I truly believe that through the process of life, we are all born for a purpose. And through life, we are to figure that out and how we're supposed to impact others. And at the end of our life, we want to be able to say, we did what we came here, what we were supposed to do. And that's really what I do. It's all about people skills. It's about connection. It's about relationships, and it's about impact. My company is Today's Professionals Consulting and Development, and I go in and do corporate training, executive coaching, and I also work with individuals through my coaching practice.
Now, you worked as a plumbing coach with
Yep.
companies all across the country.
Yep.
What was the smallest company? What kind of revenue? Like companies just starting out?
Well, I would say less than $500,000. Some are 250, 300,000 in revenue, but that's, one person or maybe a person and an apprentice in a truck running just a small company up to several $1 million in revenue annually, in the 50, 60, 70 million and higher.
Do those kind of companies still have problems?
Oh yeah. The bigger the company, the bigger the problems,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So that's what I say. You have to learn to manage anything right here. The way you manage anything is the way you manage everything. So if you want to scale something, you really have to tighten up on your processes when you're small and invest the time and money. And then as you bring people in, you teach them the processes. And if they need to change a little bit as you grow, you just need to make sure you're consistent in those processes.
Okay, so you taught me about networking.
Yep.
Why you look down and you said, yep.
Yep.
Okay, networking works.
Yeah. Did you think that in the beginning?
Oh God, no. No, you literally because you networked a lot.
I did.
And it's how you've grown your businesses.
Yeah. But my sales cycle is much smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Is much longer than, to sell corporate training or executive coaching is a longer sales cycle than plumbing.
Well, I used to watch you go networking and you'd come in. I'd be like, man, any jobs? And you're like, no. And it's like, I'm meeting people. I'm nurturing. I'm like, what?
Why nurture?
I know.
No.
Oh, yeah. What's that mean?
Yeah. Well, this is where personalities come in.
I have a personality.
Yeah, you do. You got a big one.
I know. But you finally talked me into it one night.
Yeah.
And, the thing I used to tell you is look, I'm a plumber. Plumbers don't network.
I know.
Okay. But really, I was true. There were many times I'm the only tradesperson at a networking event.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that.
Yeah.
The only other plumber really that I saw at a networking event just really like, hey, I'm number one in the number two business. Call me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I got him already.
Yeah.
Thought that was funny though.
It's cute.
It is, but it's just
plumber jokes.
It's a cliche.
Yeah.
How many plumbers around the country say that every day? A lot.
Yeah. That's like the guy who's got the van and the outside door is the toilet.
Is the toilet. And it shows him sitting on it and looking out the window smiling. I get it.
It's a plumber joke.
It is. But I used to tell you, look, plumbers don't network.
Yep.
And our business, we were, I'm going to say we were doing okay. We weren't. It was still just me. I'd run 2 or 3 calls a day, 3 or 4, something like that. So, we weren't doing bad.
You were doing good. Yeah. You were wearing yourself out.
I was. And I think we may have even had another plumber working for us at the time that I finally said, okay, I'll go networking with you. And I remember walking up to the venue and, say hello, go inside, and walked inside the door and said, you go your way, I'm going mine. We're here to network.
I know.
We ain't hanging out. This ain't a date.
Yeah.
I'm on a network.
That's right. Right.
And
You were on a mission.
I was on a mission. I'm going to get this down.
You're going to prove me wrong.
I was. I'm going to say, look, I talk to all kinds of people. It doesn't work.
That's right.
And, I'm branded everywhere I go. Even back then.
Well, I also had on a shirt.
Had on my Texas Green Plumbing shirt
Mm-hmm.
and walk in. And people would come up to me and say, oh my God, you're a plumber.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, no, really, I'm a drug dealer. I just wear this plumbing shirt because it throws the cops off.
That's your favorite line.
And they'd start laughing.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, okay, look, I really am. I'm a plumber. And I mean, everybody wants to talk about their plumbing.
Yeah.
I've had a problem with this. I've got people working on this. I had people do this. I think they did me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And me as a good guy, I'm like, well, until I saw the problem, I can't tell you if they did you wrong or not.
But you did talk to them and you made them feel seen, valued, and heard.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked over and there's a crowd of people around you and you've got your arms going and you're telling stories and everyone is cracking up and laughing. And I'm like, oh my God, he is doing his thing.
I was just being me.
Living your best life right there. Yeah.
I'm just being me.
Yeah.
That they hey, I want to talk to you about what's wrong, or hey, I got this problem. What do you think? Or this.
Yeah.
What were we there? 2 hours? Maybe 3?
Yeah. Maybe.
We were going to be there like an hour and a half. I never leave early.
No.
I may have had a drink.
You're the first one
or two
in an event and the last one to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Every time.
But and you say that, I'm going to talk about that real quick because I'm the first one there. I want to help set up if anybody needs help.
Yep. That's a strategy.
What can I do for you? Let me help you. And then the last one there is like, man, is there anybody yet that I hadn't talked to?
Right.
Are they still here? Because if so, I'm going to catch them.
Yep.
And it's funny because back then I'd walk up and say, do you love your plumber?
That's right.
That's the line that works. Just literally.
Every once in a while, somebody go, yeah, I do.
And I say, okay.
Great. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And I turn around, walk off. They're like, wait a minute. Whoa, wait.
Yeah.
Why didn't you talk to me? If you got a plumber that you love, that's a great relationship.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess that up. Keep them. Yeah. Good plumbers are hard to find.
That's right.
And I turn and they're like, wait, come here. But what if he retires or something?
Yeah.
What if he does something bad?
Well, now man,
you got one now.
That's right.
And don't mess that relationship up.
Right.
And they're like, no, I want your card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Twist my arm. I'll give it to you. But that first night that we walked in, got 3 calls the next week.
Yep.
From one night of networking.
Yeah, you got in the car and you started laughing. You're like, oh my gosh. And I was like, I told you. And you're like, that's crazy.
No, you didn't. You said, Roger, every time I looked up, there's a crowd around you. You're waving your arms. What are you talking about? So people ask me about their plumbing. I'm just telling them about it.
Yeah. Well, and then you were filtering people over to me.
Uh-huh.
So you need to go talk to her.
Yep.
She's an etiquette and protocol consultant. She teaches soft skills. And so, it was kind of cool.
And it worked.
Yeah.
We later got into the networking business.
We did.
Got out of it.
Yeah.
We did.
We did. Yeah.
So let's go back to the coaching part.
Okay.
Because when we were part of a best practice group, we tried hiring one of their marketing companies.
Yep.
I remember.
That was interesting.
Oh yeah, wasn't it though? And we'll talk about that. I remember too being at one of their events.
Uh-huh.
And I'm watching these guys on stage talk about Google. And I talked about this the other day. They're talking about Google.
Yeah.
And they're literally looking down at the monitor in front of them, reading word for word every slide on there.
Mm-hmm. And you're a speaker now.
And I'm a speaker now. I knew better then.
Right. Before you were a speaker. Yeah.
But I'm looking at them and think, y'all are supposed to be teaching us marketing on Google. because it was about Google.
And you should know that topic.
One of the guys worked for Google, so they said. One of the guys worked for Google, and the other guy was his business partner, and the business partner reading it. But even the guy that supposedly worked for Google's reading it. And it's like, do y'all not know what you're talking about?
Right. Yes.
And I remember I made a post from there.
You did.
I remember I took a picture of the guy looking down at the monitor, reading the monitor. Yeah, all you see is the top of his head. He's on stage, and that's all you see right there. And I took a picture. I'm like, look, if you're on stage talking about Google or something, know what the heck you're talking about. Don't try and get up here and just read slides. You look really stupid.
Uh-huh. And then what happened?
They called me out in the back of the room when I was walking out. First of all, they called me out wrong. This guy looks at me and said, Roger, why'd you make that post? I said, because these guys don't know what they're doing. He says, Roger, this is for Google Canada. I know. I'm like, do you believe that? He says, what do you mean? I said, Google's Google. He says, no, Roger, this is Google Canada. I'm like, the dude is reading the monitor because he doesn't know what in the hell he's talking about.
I don't care what Google he's from.
Yeah, doesn't matter. That's the kind of marketing companies a lot of these best practice groups are bringing in. That's scary.
Well, I loved the one where they stood up and said, they challenged the audience. None of y'all would have the courage. I can tell you how to get more calls. I can tell you how to get attention, but none of you have the courage to do it.
Right. I did.
You did. And you may think differently, but I don't think that was the best advice.
To tell me that, or for me to become Texas Green Plumbing Man?
All of it. I mean, and here's the reason I say that.
Okay.
Is because it was the challenge to say, I don't think any of you can do it, but you need to dress up as a character. Well, if that's your personality and you want to be a character, that's fine. If you want to have a character that's a mascot, that's fine. But you of course accept the challenge. There is not a challenge out there you won't accept.
Well, remember the way it was put, and that wasn't it our first event with them or second one?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was, look, I don't have a lot of money for marketing.
Right.
But they're like, look, here's 10 things that you can do that'll make your phone ring.
Yeah. Dress up as a character.
Okay, I can do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, most of y'all won't have balls enough to do this. Do you have any idea who you're talking to?
I know. So the next week, Texas Green Plumbing Man was born.
Hired me a $2,000 superhero.
You did.
And went to events.
And and got attention.
And it worked. It made the phone ring. People knew who we were.
You got attention.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. But then when we tried to call the marketing company, they wouldn't answer the phones.
We did what you said.
They wouldn't return the calls. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't reply to the emails.
And you tried for months.
Most marketing companies suck.
You tried for months to get in touch with them. And when we complained about it to our coaches, the reply was, well, they just weren't expecting to be so inundated with calls.
Right. Really? You put them in front of 5,000 people and said, these people are amazing. Everybody wants to talk to them then.
Yeah.
Being put in a box as a plumbing company.
Yeah.
How does that affect most plumbing companies or plumbing company owners or employees?
I think for some, it probably works for those who are, saying, I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do and I'll just do it. I think it works. I think for those who have ideas and want to do things differently, they're trying to follow this path. Here's what you do. Step 1, step 2, step 3. This is what you do. And then there's always a point where it's like, yeah, but that doesn't work for us. That doesn't work in my community. That doesn't work in this market. That doesn't work for me. And so then you have to start making it fit you. You have to start figuring that out. So there's always that learning curve, that goes. And I remember too, the step 1, step 2, step 3. I remember working with a company, and it was a man who'd been in business for a long time, but he had never scaled, and he knew he needed help. He was wanting to build it so he could sell it, needed to get out. He was an older guy, getting up there in age. And my first call with him was, do you have any financials? He goes, no, I don't have financials. Do you
got a bank account?
Do you have a software? Nope. How do you know where to go? He said, I just take the calls. Never wrote anything down, didn't have a software system, didn't have anything. I said, well, how do you pay your taxes? Because I just go through my bank account,
Here's how much money I made.
Figure it out, And I said, how do you know how much you spent? How do you know if you're profitable? And I remember saying, okay, we got to get you on a system where you can track your revenue. So I put him on a paper system, brown envelopes and a journal, and let's just kind of get organized first.
But you know what, for somebody, and I know you said he's been in business a long time, for somebody just starting out, a brown envelope's great. Get 12 of them.
That's what I said.
Or get 52 of them, however you want to do it.
Write the month
of
each, and put, and write down, you have a journal, and write down the company, the customer's name, the address, what you did, what parts you used, how much you charged them. Did you pay? Because at that time, he was like, I don't always collect. Sometimes they'll just mail it to me. And I said, how do you know they mailed it? He goes,
I trust them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I put him on a system here. Your receipts go in here with your invoices, staple them together, and had him get his little office set up in his trucks, and he was doing it. And I remember my coach from internal, was a friend of mine, loved him to death. He goes, Julie, I think you're coaching him right. I said, why not? He said, you didn't put him in the price book. We got to make sure he's priced right. I said, well, how can we figure out if he's priced right if we don't know what's coming in and what's going out? Like we have no idea. But you got to use this formula that we use.
Right.
And then you got to put him in the price book. And that's the first step. And I was like, I disagree. I think the first step is getting him organized so that he knows what he's got coming in and going out. And he knows, we've got to go from there. We'll get him in the price book. We'll get him there. But right now, I think he's way, like, we're talking first grade. We got to go back to pre-K right now with this. And so that was when I started realizing that maybe the system that we put everybody on isn't right for everybody at the same time. Maybe these steps need to be different for certain people, depending on where their needs are. And I think that's where, I started feeling conflicted inside about, am I doing the right thing by this client? I mean, I want to do the right thing by my company. I loved them, but
you love working there. I know.
I did, but I also want to do the right thing by my clients. They're paying us a lot of money.
So let me ask you this, and it was just a thought. I said you loved the company. You loved working there.
Yeah.
Did you love the students?
Yeah. Most of the students I did.
That's what you loved about doing what you did.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that I have a heart to serve.
Oh, I know. I know that.
And so serving those and helping people, I get joy by helping people do what they want to do, by bringing joy to their lives. That's what fills my cup. And so, yeah, I mean, I still have members, and I've been gone for over 2 years. I still have members who reach out to me, and I reach out to them. How's it going? What you doing? My birthday was last week. 5:30 in the morning, my phone rings. One of my former members, are you still in bed? You got to get up. It's your birthday. Happy birthday.
There you go.
And it was so funny because I was like, all right, thanks for calling. I appreciate that call. But I mean, these are people that I became friends with. They're no longer my members. They're no longer my clients, but they're my friends.
So take just a minute again. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
My name is Julie Jones, and I am the CEO and founder of Today's Professionals Consulting and Development. I'm a soft skill development company. I work with corporate training. I go into banks and law firms and IT companies and train customer service departments, sales teams. I do executive coaching, leadership training, and I love what I do.
And I mean, you work with some of the biggest companies in the world.
I do.
And you work with college athletics.
Yep. There's one university that's on my bucket list.
I know. It's everybody's favorite university.
Yes.
You need to go to Ohio State. They're rude. I'll stop right there.
Okay.
Coaching companies. How many companies did you have that you were coaching at one time as a coach?
Oh, when I was plumbing company, I had over 100.
You were coaching 100 plumbing companies.
Yeah, they were on my list. I don't know that I was coaching them. Some of them wouldn't talk to me, but I was responsible for 105 at one point.
And you're supposed to talk to them
at least once a month for 30 minutes at minimum.
Wow. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Especially if companies need something.
Yeah. And if they were new, I talked to them weekly, scheduled that time with them to help them get acclimated, get onboarded. And there were times too that people would just call to say, "Oh, something happened today. I got to process this with somebody." And I was the safe person to call, because I wasn't going to tell anybody. It's lonely at the top. When you're a company owner, you can't talk to your employees. So you got to have somebody to talk to. And so I was that person.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
You said you didn't think you needed a price book first.
For some.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I said the one in particular.
Yeah.
And I agree. Probably everybody doesn't. Are most companies out there charging what they should be charging?
No.
They're way undercharging.
Way undercharging.
And they don't even realize it.
Yeah. Or they'll say, look, my community won't support that.
Oh, you told me that when I told you we needed to raise pricing.
I did.
You said there ain't no way.
Yeah. You know why?
Because
I was on the phone listening to people complain about pricing. But what I didn't realize, and you were always really good at this, is the value. And people would say, I can't believe you're going to charge that. You went to Home Depot and got a $5 part. It's like, well, you're not paying us for a $5 part.
Knowing which $5 part to get that's going to fix the problem, and you're not going to have this problem again.
And knowing how to install that part so that you don't have to waste half a day on Saturday going back and forth to Home Depot several times and trying to fix it, and maybe flooding. I mean, my father used to flood the kitchen when he did plumbing. So it was, we're saving you the headache.
I still remember going over to Preston Hollow to work on 2 50-gallon water heaters. Actually, I think at the time they may have had hundreds. They had 2 massive water heaters.
Big ones, yeah.
And I'd worked on, we ended up changing them to 50s later because they didn't have the kids there anymore. And they're like, we don't even need them.
Right.
But I went over there and I noticed walking in, I saw a little tool bag in one of the bedrooms. Just kind of looked at the guy because I saw plumbing stuff laying next to it. I said, "What are you doing in here?" He said, "I'm working on that daggum toilet." I said, "Well, we could have done it when we were here." He said, "Oh, I know." He said, "Now I wish I'd have let you." He said, "I started working on that at 6:00 this morning." It was 3 PM because we had got there at like 1. We're finishing things up. And it's about 3:00. He said, I've been to the big box store twice. He said, "I'm fixing to go back again." And I said, what do you need? And he says, "Look, nothing." I said, no, let's look at it.
Yeah.
So I went in, I'm like, man, here's the deal.
Yeah.
And I think I sent my apprentice out and said, "Look, go get a fill valve." And came in, swapped it out, boom, 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 and it's done. And he said, I should have just let you. He said, but I thought, while they're doing that, I'll save some money and I'll do this.
Yeah.
He said, I literally had no idea it would take me 9 hours to fix this.
Yeah. Because you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You think it's easy.
Oh, it is.
People always think, oh, plumbing's easy. I don't know how many times I heard that. Oh, plumbing is easy. I said, then why are you calling us?
Yeah. If it's so easy, you get in there and do it.
Yeah.
And when your house floods, tell your insurance company, well, the plumber was too expensive.
Right.
Just saying.
Yes. Yeah.
What is the most important thing for and I'm going to say plumbing, but plumbing, electrical, HVAC, a residential service company? What's the most important thing for them to learn?
Customer service, customer experience. Roger, AI is taking over the world. It's making everything equal. And people don't really buy what you're selling, they buy you. And when you can go in and make people feel seen, valued, and heard, and you're providing value, you're treating them nice, you're communicating, you're explaining things, you're doing quality work, you're not just half-assing it. You're going in, you're using the right parts, not universal parts, but you're using the right parts. You're taking the time to make the letters on the pipes line up, and you wipe off your purple goop. Whatever it is, you're going the extra mile.
Primer, it's not goop.
The purple primer. You're wiping off that purple primer. You're cleaning up after yourself. When somebody walks into the bathroom, the mirror is clean. The faucets are sparkling. It's like a Disney movie, right? And they go, wow. That is what makes the difference. And that is what's going to make a company great today rather than just an average good company. Because if you're just average good, you're going to compete on price. You become a commodity and you're never going to get ahead. And you're never going to make a difference in anyone's life. But if you go in and you're the best, you hire the best people, you train them, you teach them the people skills, you hire for culture and values, you train the skill, you're going to be fine. You're going to be better than fine.
I always say that whenever I'm speaking at conferences or on stages, it's literally, how many of y'all grew up wanting to be the cheapest plumber in town? And I mean, nobody will raise their hand. I say, but I'm telling y'all, some of y'all are. And you know it. And you don't understand why you're not making money.
Yeah.
And I remember when I went over to a competitor's office and he said, yeah, I'll talk to you. Come by, let's visit. Great guy, big company, good people.
Big company, hugely successful.
You bet. He says, bring your price book. I said, okay. Walked over, set it down. He said, let me see it. And slide across the table. He opens it up to the pricing page, shuts it, and slides it right back. I said, you didn't even really look at it. He says, I know this price book. He said, I also know you're not charging enough. I'm like, now, how do you know that? You just look at it. He says, because I know what it costs me to do business in this town. And you're in the same town I'm in. And I'm like, wow. And then I came back and told you we needed to raise our prices. You're like, there ain't no way.
I know. I was like,
there's no way.
Yeah.
And then when we sold the company, they almost doubled our prices.
Oh, I know.
Almost doubled it.
Money mindset. Mm-hmm. And I'm writing my book right now. I'm finishing it up.
And what's the name of it?
The Presence Effect.
Okay.
Because how you show up matters.
You bet.
And so the section on attitude talks about fixed versus growth mindset. Money is part of that. And so money is a tool, right? And it has different value to different people. You take the bottle of water. I can grab a case of water at the grocery store and it's $1? Yeah. That same bottle
3 or 4
bottle of water at the Texas Rangers game.
12, 14, 15 bucks.
Right. But you know what? I'm going to pay that $12 there because the value of that water in that stadium is a lot, mm-hmm. Right? So it just depends. So it's all about value. Money is a tool. And you came home one time from a class, I think it was when you were studying HVAC, getting your license. And the instructor said, know that there are people out there who can afford
To pay you what you charge.
so that
You can take care of the people that can't afford to pay you what you charge.
that's right. That's impact, Roger.
Mhm.
That's impact. And if people know that you have that heart, I think people want to pay for better value. Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
They're not cheap.
Cadillac, Lexus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can buy a Lexus and you don't have to worry about a new car for 10 or 12 years. I mean, unless you just want new cars because
Right.
they're built to last.
I get it.
You know, I drive a Lexus. And when I traded in my car, which I drove
Was
a little
not a Lexus.
Yeah, it was not a Lexus, but it was on its last leg and it was 12 years old. And it literally, I think, puttered into the
Oh, it did not. Quit that. It
the
did
little
not.
parking lot. But I said I drive my cars for 10 years. I love not having a car payment. I'm not one that needs a car every 2 years. And they said, you came to the right place.
Very
And
nice.
so, you know, you pay a little bit more, but the value you get out of it is so superior. And so knowing that something is done right, knowing that things that need to be inspected are inspected, big red flag to me is when people go, well, we're going to save a little bit of money here because we're not going to get it inspected. I feel like they're giving me the wink, wink.
Right.
Right. I'm like, no.
It's time for you to go. So wrap it.
Okay. No. I want you to do the right thing. I want it inspected because I will pay for that because then I have peace of mind.
Well worth it.
Yeah.
Bring value. That's what it's all about.
Bring value.
What's next for you?
I don't know. Maybe a best practice group or something.
Julie, this has been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been fun. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.